Thank you, Madam Speaker, for calling me to make my maiden speech. Before I do, could I commend Fagan Murray and her family and friends for the excellent campaign they have continued completely selflessly, which will save, I'm sure, the lives of possibly hundreds, if not thousands of people. They are a great example to us all. Yeah. I confess to being unusually nervous, as indeed I should be, as I address my honourable colleagues across the House for the first time as the first Member of Parliament for Tiverton and Minehead. I would like to begin by thanking the two previous MPs for Tiverton and Minehead, my honourable fellow Liberal Democrat Richard Ford, who has happily been returned by his constituents in Honiton and Sidmouth as their MP, where he will continue to be a hard-working local champion. I'm also grateful for the 23 years of service that my predecessor in Minehead and West Somerset, Ian Liddell-Granger, in his own inimitable style, gave to my constituents in that part of my constituency. He is a doting grandfather who will now have more time to spend with his grandchildren. I also want to thank Rebecca Powell, the former member for Taunton Deane, a prolific gardener. Vegetables are a particular favourite, I understand, whose constituency encompassed some of the villages and towns now in Tiverton and Minehead, as well as the constituency of Taunton and Wellington. As a new Member of Parliament, even though this place bears a resemblance to my alma mater, it is a difficult and different environment to master. I know that I speak for all new members when I thank all members of the staff of the parliamentary estate, from doorkeepers to police officers to catering and cleaning staff, when I thank them all for their warm welcome, for their tolerance and patience, with the numerous questions they answer with humour and understanding. Thank you all. Yeah. Since September last year, my team, known as Team Terrific and the Stalwarts, have knocked on nearly 31,000 doors, delivered hundreds of thousands of leaflets, letters and surveys, and spoken to over 12,000 residents. I know what matters to the people of Tiverton and Minehead because I've asked them. I was raised in Somerset and have spent most of my adult life in Devon, from Holcombe Rogus via Hemyock to Bampton in the Tiverton and Minehead constituency. My husband and I chose to raise our family in Devon. In fact, all four of our children are born Devonians. Our eldest sons, Henry and Tom, were born in the old hospital in Tiverton. It is my sincere intention to support the NHS and social care systems in Tiverton and Minehead by keeping our local hospitals open in Minehead, Tiverton and Willerton and supporting all our GP surgeries. Ours is a very rural area and the need to keep local hospitals open is especially pressing with limited transport links and higher than average elderly population. As a rural and often disconnected constituency, transport improvements are one of my key priorities. With that in the forefront of my mind, I have convened a meeting with the Peninsula Transport, the body which oversees all public transport in Devon and Somerset, along with my transport advisor, David Northey, who has a deep history in this area as a former head of strategic planning at Great Western Railway. I've been hard at work for my constituents, putting together a transport plan highlighting the challenges and solutions for rail and bus services across Tiverton and Minehead. Minehead train station desperately needs linking to the main line at Taunton, and I know my honourable friend and neighbour in Taunton and Wellington would agree. We need to also secure the numbers 25 and 28 bus services in the north of the constituency and look carefully at rural bus routes to services the villages of Exmoor, such as Exford, Withypool, Winsford, with local towns, particularly with Williscombe. These will be key parts of that new plan for the local area. Poor public transport provision creates a particular barrier to school children and students in Tiverton and Minehead. Some have no bus to take them to school, no way to walk to school, or no way to cycle to get there. Other than a small A-level provision at West Somerset Community College, there is no, I repeat, no sixth form provision in my constituency. Students have to travel to Exeter, Taunton or Bridgewater if they wish to pursue their studies. This limits their aspirations and their ability to succeed. Shockingly, West Somerset ranks 324th out of 324 on the Social Mobility Index, and transport problems explain some of why this is. However, teachers and heads in primary schools across the constituency and secondary schools in Tiverton, Minehead, Willerton and Ufcombe do not lack aspiration for their pupils. They are working daily to improve access to better education. This includes campaigning to have facilities that are worthy of the 21st century educational standards. The first letter I wrote, within days of getting elected on July 5th, was to our new Secretary of State for Education, asking for a meeting to discuss the dire state of Tiverton High School. Nearly 25 years ago, Tiverton High School was promised a new build. The previous Labour government put it on their priority list. The last Conservative government sat on their hands and did nothing. The school is deemed to be at danger of death from flooding by the Environment Agency. There is asbestos in the sports hall. Children are being taught in dining and communal areas. It has capacity for 1,300 pupils, but needs capacity for 1,800. Given the pledges made by our new Prime Minister and his commitment to schools, I know that I will get a fair hearing from the Secretary of State for Education, and I hope that she will agree to meet a delegation of staff, parents and children from Tiverton High School in the near future. Community plays a crucial role in Tiverton and Minehead. There are wonderful organisations providing support and help, from community food banks to support groups for carers, to Rotary clubs, conservation groups and environmental networks with whom I work to monitor and prevent the pollution in our rivers and on our beaches. They all make Tiverton and Minehead the wonderful, beautiful, special part of the UK that it is. When these organisations meet to discuss important community issues, the provisions of the Protection of Premises Bill will ensure that they are safe. However, my party has previously had some concerns about the impact on smaller scale venues, which I'm delighted to have heard today has been more light touch than one was expecting. As a former director of the NFU, I have a deep passion for and understanding of my local farming community, spread across the constituency and facing harder challenges than they have for generations. This is thanks to the disastrous Brexit deal foisted upon them by the previous Conservative government. In the face of climate change, increased rainfall, drier summers and the rising cost of energy, they better battle on. To them I say, I will always back my farming community. Let's work together to secure a future for farming across Exmoor, West Somerset and Mid-Devon. Come to my monthly farmers' surgery so I can represent my farming community to the very best of my abilities. Becoming an MP has been my ambition since I was 17, when I joined the Liberal Party at school. It has taken me 4 attempts over 43 years of campaigning, but now that dream has become a reality. Without my family, it would have been impossible. As a professional woman, I have broken several glass ceilings, thanks to my inspirational grandmothers, Mabel and Jessie, who offered wise counsel. Miss Waite, now Mrs. Michael Lim, my Latin teacher who kept me sane at boarding school, and especially my mother, who has always believed in me. Mummy, thank you. I love you. I am so proud to have her here today with my husband, our eldest son, in the gallery so she can see this moment. Yesterday, I celebrated my 70 years birthday. To my Conservative colleagues whose maths skills in government were found somewhat wanting, that's 60. I share my birthday with Margaret Hilda Thatcher, who must be one of the best recruiting agents for the Liberal and Labour parties. I am proud that I share nothing else with her other than a birthday. My passion for politics flows from my compassion for my fellow human beings, whoever and wherever they are, irrespective of background, race, religion, colour, gender, sexuality or ability. It is impossible to mention everyone and everything in one's maiden speech, but if there's one thing I would wish my constituents to know, it is this. They are my world. I feel humbled and honoured to have been elected to represent Tiverton and Minehead in Parliament. They can help me do my job by coming to my surgeries in Tiverton, Minehead, Wiveliscombe and on Exmoor, ringing my office and my staff and writing us letters and emails. I am at their service. Yeah.